Hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 327. This is Rajyasree, and today we have with us Jayashree.
Hello. I have a bad cold, guys, so I will not sound as good as Rajyasree does, but I will try.
That's why
also,
I
do
said.
you know, our couple name would be Jayraj, I realized.
Jayraj.
Either Jayraj or Shri. You can
Shri is a good one also to have, I have to say. So, my grandmother's name is Jayashree.
Oh,
my mother's name is Jayashree. And my name is Raj. My grandmother being my paternal grandmother's name is Jayashree. My mother was Jayashree and I'm Rajyasree. So, I've spent a large part of my life being called, when people call up, they say, hello, Jayashree. And I just keep talking depending on my mood, because what is the point of correcting people?
All the Hafta letters are always directed to Rajyasree. No one can get my name right.
See, so there. This is a...
Also, I should tell you my sister's name is Anjana Shri. So...
Oh, I've never heard Anjana.
It's a festival of fake names.
Yes. So we have lots of foreign affairs to discuss. So there's The Killer, which is the new Michael Fassbender film. There's the Robbie Williams documentary. There's the new Apple film, which is starring, if you watched, what is it called? That cooking show of his. Why have I forgotten it now? Where he's...
Which one?
The Bear, with Jeremy Allen White. So there's the new film called Fingernails, and there's a show which is Bodies, which is again on Netflix. So we have a Netflix Apple special, but what do we want to start with? Shall we start with Robbie Williams, since both of us have watched it?
Yes. I have many thoughts on it.
You have many thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, Take That was a very big phenomenon in the 90s, I think, and late 90s it was, right? And yeah, mid to late 90s. And they were they were one of the most popular boy bands at that time. And there were 5 of them, and Robbie Williams was very much the sort of the wild, because they all had their own personalities like the Spice Girls did, but Robbie was considered to be the slightly more on the edge one, and there was clearly some rivalry between him and Gary Barlow for taking...
He was also the baby of the group.
He was the baby of the group. He was... there was this rivalry about who will take center stage and be the leader of the group and all. And then Robbie Williams left Take That. And it was, at least in England, it was shocking, absolutely.
Tears were shed.
Yes, oh my God, it was the saddest thing possible and all. But then Robbie Williams branched out on his own, and he is a really... I think his solo career is more successful even today than Gary Barlow's is actually.
Yeah, by far.
By far.
It's Gary Barlow stan, I must admit.
Yeah, that's what. So, but this documentary is about from the time they start the boy band to today, right? But so I thought one thing which was odd is, and then I'll let you say what you felt about this whole thing of him lying in bed and doing the entire documentary wearing a vest and undies. He's wearing proper undies, and this is not boxers or anything. The only thing is they are both black in color. So it doesn't look as bad as him wearing Raju Banyan and underwear.
I first thought it was a onesie, and then I realized he was wearing underwear with a top.
And so I don't know why he said it's my safe space or something, some nonsense. I think he was just being lazy.
Nonsense.
Yeah, he must have said, I'll lie
in one scene, he's putting on the underwear also.
Yeah, he's putting it on.
Like, why? You had one job. You just had to wear the underwear and come on camera.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on
so while we were doing this build-up, right, when we were discussing Take That, we made it sound really interesting. But then you watch the documentary, I thought it was really dull. Like, even as someone what was the plot? What was the tension? Like, it started off as, I was this 16-year-old boy and I joined Take That. We know nothing about his parents, about his upbringing.
So this is another thing throughout. You never hear...
The problem was the entire setup is footage and Robbie Williams talking about footage.
Yeah.
And I think it needed more people. Like, I would have liked them to include talking heads of that guy or like other members of Take That.
So I did think after that guy's episode, when he says we split up and then we parted ways, that they would then get Guy to come in and at least talk. But there was no one else.
So for audience, Guy was his songwriter, partner. He was basically his
manager.
Other half and manager. And then suddenly, randomly in episode 2, Robbie is like, oh, I'm done with Guy. I can't do this anymore. Oh, I need my own creative ownership or whatever. And then he dumps Guy. But then by the end of episode 4, he's like, oh, one day I reunited with Guy. And you're like, but why?
Yeah, nothing is explained properly in...
Yeah.
Even the relationship with Gerri Halliwell is not like, how did you meet and why did you break up?
So, and my thing was that I did not know he had a scene with Gerri Halliwell.
Oh, I knew. Because I watched Graham Norton. So I know that he put her into a suitcase, by the way, once when they were leaving his house. She was so tiny and they didn't want the paparazzi to see that she had stayed at his place.
That is a better story than anything that was told to us.
I've said a more interesting story than this documentary. So he packed her into a suitcase and he walked out carrying this big suitcase and no one knew that she was in, and they put her in the back of the trunk of the car and drove out, and then they opened her out. So my point is that
most of episode 2 was devoted to he went to Spain or something with that Gerri Halliwell
holiday,
and the paps were following them, but again there was no sense of tension, there was no sense of urgency. It was just sort of okay, I mean...
So only when she asks him a question, there's a bit where they are in the car and she's asking Guy and him questions. She was asking more interesting questions and getting
than anything that has come out.
Yeah, than anything else that came out. Even his relationship with his kid, it was very okay, now the child will come in and ask a question, then he'll say, this is a traumatic time for...
Daddy's going to fall now or something.
Okay, bye, baby. And then baby goes off and we don't... So the only person who was interviewed was his wife.
Yeah, and very briefly. And that was interesting. Assembly elections are ongoing and we have partnered with the News Minute for election coverage across 5 poll-bound states. So you can contribute now on newslaundry.com/election fund. Please top up our fund. We are stronger together and we are even stronger with you.
Harjant has written, hi, Abhinandan and Rajyasree, your long-time subscriber and follower. Harjant here, writing in from Washington, D.C. Rajyasree, thank you for recommending Deadlock on Amazon Prime. I don't think I recommended. Someone else recommended, though. It's a hilariously dark, binge-worthy crime comedy. The first 3 episodes were a bit slow, but the rest of the series is pure comedy gold. It's a must-watch. Abhinandan, if you have not already, check out the music by Wazir Pattar. I'm sure I've said it incorrectly, especially this song, Bas Tere Karke, which was featured on the Netflix show Kora. I remember the show being reviewed on ANA sometime back. However, he's watched it, so have I. It's a really good show. Kora is amongst the most exceptional Punjabi language films, TV shows of all time. Love to hear your thoughts on Pattar's music and the show. Lastly, I would love to hear ANA's thoughts on Britney Spears' new memoir, The Woman in Me. It's a quick, enjoyable read. I'm not a stan, but I found the book fascinating. After reading it, I feel like our generation owes Britney an apology for reveling in her misfortune. We didn't do that. She was subjected to so much abuse from the media and the men in her life, and we failed to notice it or call it out. Her story demands some collective introspection on our part. Thoughts, lots of love, Harjan. So I personally think this whole concept of the conservatorship, where someone else can be given responsibility for taking every decision of your life, even if you're this working professional who's the person who's earning money, which is then being paid to the conservator. I just find the whole setup really bizarre, and that you cannot ask for it to be corrected. It's taken her so long to be able to get out of this conservatorship, right? So I just find it absurd.
Yeah, so I really did want to read her book, except the thing is that I unfortunately also follow BuzzFeed on Instagram, which is basically every page of the book they have made into one post.
Oh,
so I feel like
you've read the book.
I feel I'm intimately aware with all the details in the book, and it's very interesting. And I think her conservatorship now has been so well documented
Yeah.
But we've just never really heard her side of it. But also, I feel bad for Britney Spears because she still gets so much hate on her Instagram. People say that she's acting insane.
Yeah, she's a little unhinged and all, which she might be a little unhinged she is.
But she's allowed to be.
Exactly. Finally, I think she's being allowed to do whatever. Not like she's taking the decisions for what she wants to do. So if she wants to be twirling around like a lunatic according to people, then it's her choice. No? There are worse things people put on Instagram, frankly. So it's okay. But for the rest of this episode, you all will need to log on to either the website or to any of the streaming platforms that you listen to the podcast on. And we'll see you on the other side.
Journalism at News Laundry is powered by the public. Because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.